All right, we starting. I like to start off today. If you woke, pardon me, you woke up this morning, you blessed. Welcome to the Street Entrepreneurs, and I will be your founder and host today, Promise Di Vaughn. And we are getting into a new year, people, with a different, let's say, a different aspect on where we're about to take our business, dreams, our goals, and journey. Get with me, stay with me. So, as you see, boom, let's get out of here real quick. Let's hope we stay in the camera and let's jump into it. Boom. Matter of fact, I'm bugging. I gotta go get the picture and stuff. So, what we talking about is basically debt collectors right now. How do we take care of debt collectors? And not just that, we're gonna get into the financial literacy of things and a whole lot more in this episode and in this podcast journey. Like I said, from the streets to entrepreneurs, where we talk about money, business, wealth, financial literacy, and a plethora of things. But I notice there's a lot of people that's talking about credit repair and things in that manner. So that's why I said I wanted to bring something a little bit different. So what we're going to do is, one, I want to start bringing, I'm about to all right, how I'm going to explain it. So since for the people that's on live, what I'm also going to do is start playing a little bit of music and promotion of products of other people in my community that I feel need the exposure on platforms like this. Plus, it's free. So, right now we got my boy Trenchy the God from Albany, New York, people. Trenchy the God. I want to play his new song right now.
Yeah.
So, we're going to start bringing
Alright.
that in, giving
Yeah,
a
I'll go
couple,
if you
little
come
bit
in
of a
now.
snippet of people and
Alright.
exposure onto the
No problem.
podcast and showing this, especially for the live stream. Then we're going to jump into the streets of entrepreneurs and
So
get
tell
into
me
this
what's been on
credit
your
stuff
mind
for this
lately.
year.
On these streets, I could've died. I did a lot, so don't feel sorry. I ain't saying I ain't deserve it. I wasn't perfect, no, not Harley. Mama wishing I was like Papa, but I'm more like a Bakari. Ain't nobody love me proper. Never said it, but it scarred me. Wasn't nobody too concerned with my little mental state of mind. Said I was good, but I was lying. When I got hurt, I said I'm fine. So a verse and a line, you probably hear my soul crying. But all this fire that's inside, keeping all my tears dry. 15 with drug cases, by 11 court sanctions. Cuffed at that substation. I'm 7 on probation. I make Kanye lose her patience. Since she saw me in the placement. 16, I was AWOL, sleeping in a vacant. So my heart kinda vacant and that block kinda sacred. I was
We ain't gonna play the whole song, people. Go to YouTube, Trenchy the Guy, therapy session. That is probably one of the hardest songs coming from upstate New York right now. So boom, as we said, let's get into it. We getting into basically this year, we making entrepreneur business fun again. That's just break. That we gonna make that fun again. We're not gonna make this into a I thing. We just selling. We're gonna make this a culturally fun thing. Why? Because survival mode, inflation, money issues, social media has put people into a stagnation of creativity. When you can't create, then how are you going to operate a business, run a business, or create solutions to problems? That's how you overcome problems, by creating solutions to the problems. But when you're stuck in such a, let's say, the state of depression or a traumatic mindset of everything is going to go wrong, or you're too scared to go through the risks, then you're not actually going to be able to create nothing, to do nothing. And that's the main issue. And it's not even just for business, also relationships and friendships. If you can't create right now because of such a, let's say, the hardships of money, then you have to find a solution. So for me, I was getting tired of, I'm being honest, I was getting tired of paying so much money for credit repair specialists and gurus, and then watching so much, let's say, different content, and then always just getting a little bit. Like, you gotta watch it to get a little bit more. You gotta watch it to get some more and more, and then you gotta pay. I'm like, all right, I'm broke, I'm messed up, but I know that I need this to get ahead. Like, for an example, when I was doing my LLC in business, it was not saying it was, but to get the funding and stuff that what I wanted or needed, I needed a better credit score. That was it. I didn't know nothing about business credit and anything in that manner. So by time, let's say we do figure out we got a whole new phone, so we in debt, we got some Rent-A-Center stuff, or so it was like, all right, I'm messing up. So then it got real serious, especially when you become adult, and you're noticing that society is basing everything on this system right now. To like even get an apartment, people are asking for a credit score. So it became now a necessity to figure out, all right, I need this to get ahead or to use to get ahead. And of course, I'm being honest, I wasn't taught nothing about credit in school. So for the ones that's not on here, what we were basically covering on TikTok, right, is we focus on beating debt collectors, right? Then from debt collectors, we work on fixing everything else. So why do I say, or why am I got this up for this? Because the most people are just telling you to come and buy a course or buy a product or sign up and they got an affiliate link. How about they teach us how we can get paid from the whole process, or just understanding? So to get paid, you have to really understand what they are not saying and all of these credit gurus are not saying. That's the basic of it. So that means you got to understand how something is affecting you, what it means to be affecting you, and the law of it affecting you. How does it apply? A lot of people like use 1666B and 1852C, and those are law statutes. A law statute is based on using for the law. So you can add these to your dispute letters and stuff to, let's say, try to emphasize, I know what I'm talking about, or I read some law from things from TikTok, but that's for the law. And what happens is when you send in a dispute, people, they don't care. They send it to a platform called eOscar. That's it. Once your information comes back verified from third-party bureaus and third-party companies and secondary bureaus, then that's when you see that you have to put in a little bit more work. I'm serious. Everybody like write these letters out with the laws and stuff in them, and it doesn't matter. What you can do is, right, research the laws, right? Pertain the laws to what is the error on your report, and then use the definition. So that's what we covering. And like I said, we ain't just talking about credit repair right now. No, we talking about getting ahead. How can we control our information? Because why, when you start taking these people to court in civil matters and things, and that's in that mindset, they know that you know what you're talking about. They know that, all right, you can't be bamboozled. That's the thing. Why? Because for the first fact of, let's say, debt collectors, right? The first thing about debt collectors is you have to ask yourself, how the heck are they buying a debt that is invisible, so to say? A lot of people don't even know that. Like, when they buy these debts, how are they doing that and then accessing it, or able to access it to then just put on your credit report automatically? You have to understand that it's a lot that comes with doing that. Not just being an LLC, like, oh, they just a debt collection company, so they could do that. Or the credit companies can do it like Capital One and stuff like that. No. They have actual laws that are here to and designed to protect us, as people are saying, but people are not properly explaining it to the average consumer on how does this apply to me? How do I get paid? How do I, let's say, you're seeing a lot of these class action lawsuits. They sending people $10 and $20 and $99. You think that your information and your data is worth $99? You think them companies taking all of these billion-dollar companies to court and only getting $99 because there's 8,000 people in a court case? No. Automatically it's $1,000 per CRA violation and or FDCPA. And then with these places, like let's say TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian are all under investigation right now by the CFPB, attorney generals, and etc. for doing sham investigations, right? But as you research that law case, you have to understand what is a sham investigation, and then how do you get the extra money? The extra money comes in from you showing how you are affected, meaning how much money have you spent on credit repair? How much money have you spent on certified letters, postage stamps, and things in that manner? How were you affected? Are you being denied something? Like, if you're doing business, let's say you denied 100 and some thousand because your credit score, and it's because of a negative a collection account on your credit score, and you are disputing this account, and this account isn't supposed to be on your credit report in the first place, that's your extra money when you take them to court. That's what they're doing, and they're not telling us. So let's take it from the top, people. Welcome, and let's cover and start from the beginning on what we're getting at from not just credit secrets or credit repair, but how are we going to fix our credit, the possibility of getting paid, and then things in that manner. Like the secrets. What is these banks doing and these debt collection companies doing? Why? Because if you learn this, then you'll understand the whole synopsis of, let's say, consumer repair, consumer law, and things in that manner. So, for one, when it comes to debt collectors, right, you have to understand that outside of them buying a debt, they have to also abide by what they call contract law. Contract law means that when it comes to money, it has to be a real contract involved, but now is, secret terminologies they put in. So, for example, they will, if you read the law system on what a contract is, it's something that is between a person agreed, obligated, or reinstated, let's say. So how is an account, let's say, obligated? When you are willingly paying something and don't contest, that's an obligation, and that you automatically approve. So when you're getting, like, say, a contact from these debt collection companies and you automatically write back without the proper information, or dispute without the proper information, or start a payment plan without the proper information, they legally have you under obligation, under contract. Yes. Why? Because they had the paperwork and you didn't contest it properly by contract law. That's what they're doing, and that's what we have to learn and understand that. Now, that also applies to all of these companies, meaning the credit bureaus, and this the thing. Bam, let me take that back. Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax people are not credit bureaus. What they are called are credit agencies. They are what you call a data furnisher. Boom. I'm serious. Google what a bureau means and ask yourself why you never see that word in none of their names. The only bureau and credit bureau legally is the CFPB. There goes some Snapple facts for you. Also, this is how they use words to trick us and make it hard for us to understand things. Because a lot of us it's still, even the AI is telling you that these are credit bureaus, and it knows and can research it and understand that these companies are not credit bureaus. So for anybody that's new on here, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian are not credit bureaus. Why do I say that? And I'm talking about this different than your credit people, is because you have to start learning the words now, because as technology advances, is going to be controlled and make people lazy and dumb. Then they're hiding information to where it's going to be harder for you to research how to do this. Especially if you can't read. Like, example, why do you think they are not teaching the youth script? The reason that they're not teaching script like that to our youth is because a lot of these documents, and going back to paper trails, let's say your allodial titles and stuff, is in script. Latin script at that. So we have to understand that if we don't start learning the words, or people are breaking this down a little bit more easier, then you're just going to constantly just keep paying, and then also keep going through the issues of them reselling the debt, reselling your information and your data. And then next thing you know, you get off a company and then 2-3 months later you got a new company on. That's a violation of your rights. You are a consumer and can get paid for that. So on my live and on the screen as we sharing it, just showing you the basis of the ebook that I have for this. Then we have a free ebook right now, which is just a credit repair book to show people how the basic understanding of how you fix your credit and what you need to do to fix your credit. So, like I said, for the top 3 companies, they are not credit bureaus. They are data furnishers. So, I tell people now, what you do and what you need is your actual real credit reports. Meaning, stop using these apps unless it's Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, or MyFICO. These are the main companies to contest the data with. So to get your free credit reports today, go to annualcreditreport.com. My goal this month and going forward is to help 50 people fix their credit. Not even just fix their credit, but get their credit right. Not deal with just no courses in AI, no fake group, and have a personal consultant, because we're not a credit repair company. We are a company that consult with people with how to deal with consumer problems and issues on their credit reports or dealing with their credit score. So, annualcreditreport.com, people. Go to annualcreditreport.com and get all 3 copies of your real credit report. That's a must. If they put you through a little bit of issues, you might have to write the credit bureaus and stuff like that, but you need a real copy of your full credit report. Also, each bureau has to, each company, Experian, Equifax, and Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion also are obligated to give you a copy of your credit report for free each year. Get the real copy of your credit report, because you cannot go and be like, oh, I got a copy from Credit Karma or Credit Wise to now contest information. No. What you really need is your account numbers, the contact information, and things in that manner. So if you could actually get all of that real information, then you can do it however you want. But why I tell people to get their real credit reports, because now that is your evidence. The more you have of your real credit report, then the more paper trail that you have to show, like, all right, bam, are they doing the proper things? And here goes my report. For an example, when an account is deleted and reinstated, they have to notify you and reinvestigate that account. Then they have to give you every piece of documentation that you request or that is part of the investigation of this account being reinstated. So if an account got deleted before, how does it get legally back on my credit report? That means that these companies did not do a proper reinvestigation to that company, putting that back on your credit report. For an example, For an example, another issue and another thing, not another issue, but another thing that you need to know when it comes to, let's say, disputing an account and things in that manner. When you dispute these accounts with these credit bureaus, they have to respond to you within the first 5 days of them receiving that letter to let you know what they're about to do. Then after that, or within the whole congestion of that time frame of them first getting that letter, they have 30 days exactly to investigate that account. If not, they have to ask for an extra 15 days, and that's it. They only get a max of 45 days. Now, after that, they have to send you everything that they did. So if you never got a letter from them the first 5 days on them receiving that dispute, that is a violation of your rights, and that's an error to be able to contest these people to do the proper things. It's a paper trail. And like I said, I seen the post, right, about a couple weeks ago where it says people need to sue more, especially black people. And that's a fact. Why? Because a lot of our information isn't even being controlled from these 3 companies. They get a lot of our information from secondary companies and third-party companies. They don't even do a proper investigation. So for an example, when you send in like copies of your report or things in that manner, they don't even review that. They send that through a machine that's like an AI, and once they check your information and addresses to a secondary bureau, you're done. We're going to also get into another video showing how you can see what they call the backdoor method of your information, meaning that you could put in your information and go to another site on Experian to see how they're tracking you, meaning that they have different numbers for your addresses and names. That's the way that they track you. So when you come to find out, like, all right, how are certain things still popping up, is because they still have your addresses and personal information tracked to those accounts. That's how they do it. So if I had applied for a school loan in Troy and I still have that Troy address on my report, they're going to always keep verifying that school loan. Now, why do I do, like I said, I got the book up here, is because now if you learn how to take these people to civil court and in litigation, they know that you're serious about your information. They not about to just do whatever they want, because, for an example, you can sue these companies for millions of dollars and they're worth millions of dollars. They don't want the average person knowing that. That's what I'm here for. Like I said, for me, what it was, I wasn't trying to keep paying thousands and thousands of dollars for just a little bit of information. So I said for myself, I'm going to learn how to do this. And then when I do learn how to do it from my trials and errors, then I could give people the proper recipe to do it themselves. That's the point of the Streets Entrepreneurs and the podcast. Me being a founder is because we created an AI tool to help people do this a little bit easier. So meaning, when you ask AI anything, and I know Claude actually did a pretty good job with making templates, but when you ask AI to make, let's say, dispute letters, it's going to give you a generalized statement or dispute. The more specific and more information that you put in, then the better it get. But a lot of us don't even know how to put in the proper dispute or what to, let's say, contest. So if you go to disputeai.xyz, it's a tool that we created to help people analyze their credit report. And it gives you FCRA and FDCPA analyzations of the errors, even late payments and things in that manner. And I've been telling people it's very hard with late payments, listening to these online people like, yo, just put this in. No, that's why I tell people to get all 3 of your credit reports. Why? Because if you have a late payment that does not match on these other bureaus, that's how you correct late payments. Also, to correct late payments, they have to notify you and let you know within a certain time frame that they're going to do that. What we don't understand is that when you sign up for them online agreements and stuff, that's how they automatically bypass the legality of having to send you a letter. Get my drift? If you've been noticing, that's why they're doing a lot of this e-statement stuff. Why? It's to eliminate them coupons that you're hearing about on bills, and for them to give you the proper legal notification. So meaning, once you sign up for these user agreements on a lot of these apps, within their user agreements tells and states that they can, let's say, notify you legally through emails and text messages and stuff. And I'm being serious. So now when you go to, let's say you want to take them to court and things, they can be like, yeah, we emailed you your bank statement, so that lets you notify that you about to be reported late payments, or we sold this account. I'm serious. So that's why you have to really understand the law system about that. Another thing, like for New York State, certain laws apply differently by states too. So for New York State, they cannot take you to court for a debt that is what they call time barred. So each state has a different time frame for how long debt can be, let's say, held or take under court, meaning can they use it for wage garnishments or to get you to even pay and things in that manner. So, excuse me. Why do I say that? Because most of us hear that, oh, you gotta wait 7 years to get something off your account, and that's not true. New York State changed it to where now, depending on the time frame, it's 3 years to where they have to either contest the account and take you up to court and things in that manner. So always check that out and make sure that is proper by your state also. State consumer laws. And there's mad different other laws like for text messages and emails. I think, what is it, the TILA Act? What is it, Telecommunication Act that you have to use, and that's how you deal with them and take them to court for, let's say, them harassing you in text messages and stuff in that manner. That's also, like I said, the basis of this now, as you hearing, is massive different laws that you could use to fix your credit report. And what we call that, and what they call that in the big leagues, is controlling your credit profile. So meaning that a lot of people, like even our president going bankrupt, that's a way to just wipe your credit clean and start fresh. And these banks don't care. They're going to give you a whole new credit card and everything. So when learning this system, you can also get paid in the midst of while you're fixing your credit. That's the thing I wanted to get at. So it takes a process from mailing these letters, waiting on responses, and then, like I said, 9 times out of 10, these companies are just going to automate the process, automate the verification. The debt collectors are just going to send you a whole bunch of statements and bull crap, and none of that is the proper legal procedure. You get what I'm saying? So, yes, they have a little bit of leeway, the credit bureaus and stuff, the fake ones that I'm getting at. But what you have to contest is just the one little loopholes that they didn't do. So when I've been noticing, when I was researching a lot of cases and stuff, because they take off a lot of the good ones, the winners, you don't see those up there. They make sure you got to pay for that or you got to get a Pacer account. But also, that's a, damn, let me tell you that. You get a Pacer account and you're doing research and you're paying for these cases and stuff like that, keep a receipt, because that's how you're going to get your money back. The CFPB pays people directly also for you proving the proper violations and contesting and things in that manner. So, as you see from the screen, we're going to jump into basically how can you spot an error on your credit report or a violation, because it's going to correlate. Like I said, 9 times out of 10 people, they are not going to do the proper procedure, and that's when you start your next wave of disputes and litigation. Why? Because they know what they're supposed to be doing. So you as a consumer, that's not your job. And then if you're actually getting into this stuff and researching, you're starting to understand that you're really the original creditor and all that. It goes down a deep rabbit hole. But the basis of it, let's keep it simple and easy. So we are going to focus on 1, fixing our credit broke. 2, identifying the errors, using all of these free tools and AI. And then in the process of that, if they don't do nothing right, now we know how to get paid. And not just get paid. That's also going to help you control your data, your personal information. In law, it's called non-public information. So a lot of us are having, let's say, our addresses and names and our last 4 of our social security numbers shared, and that's illegal. They're not supposed to be sharing that information without your permission to all of these different companies also. That is called the Grammar, Leach, and Bailey Act. I think that has something to correlate with it. Pardon me, like I said, this is not financial or legal advice. We have to throw that in there. I'm giving you the actual trials and errors of me doing this myself versus just sitting on here trying to sell people a product. So 1, how can you spot an error and a violation? So from the ebook, as you see, and especially if you're on my live. So if you're not on my live, join the what do they say? Join the purple app. Click the purple app button. And we're on YouTube at MHE Media or The Streets Entrepreneurs. So 1, you got to be able to identify error. When you take, or even if you're looking at this in a manner of litigation, you have to first spot the error, spot the violation. So from the credit report, as you see, we have multiple inaccuracies and stuff. Like 1, there's no data for Equifax. So when an account doesn't have no data for Equifax and it's on the other two reports, that's another way that you could be like, wait a minute, what's going on with this information? Something isn't right. Then when we go down and look into it more, right? They have different dates where the date of the accounts are open. That's another inaccuracy. Or, all right, so bam. When it comes to the credit bureaus, right? They are liable for complete information, accurate information, and verifiable information. They are liable under those three. So that's what you have to understand. What is inaccurate on your report? What is unverifiable? And pardon me, I lost track. Accurate, verifiable, and no, incomplete. What is incomplete or complete? Meaning, so look for what's not complete on your account. Like, is there missing credit limit? Is there a missing past due date or stuff in that manner? Also, is the comments missing? Meaning that if you dispute it, they're supposed to show those comments on there that you disputed this account. So from looking at the screen, like I said, people, go get the ebook now. Book a free consultation. Let's get this 2026. I'm trying to bring in myself with about 50 people with a 700 and 800 credit score so we could just get right off credit. Go get you a hoodie too. As you see, I'm manifesting it. Go get you a hoodie. I got rich off credit. So with your hoodie. I'm sorry if y'all can't see on Twitch. But bam, let's get into it. That's how you spot an error. So you would not look at everything. We're going to focus just on one. So from there, it'd be like, okay, bam, the date open doesn't match, or there's no data showing on Equifax. And then you would have to write that to each company. So you have to write that to TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. So you would basically say, Experian, TransUnion, why you have this on here, or Equifax, why is this missing? Or we don't even care about Equifax if it's not on there. Let's focus on the ones that got it on there. But that's first. So bam. Now in a litigation matter, you're like, okay, boom. I'm about to dispute these accounts because the information is inaccurate. Now what's going to happen 9 times out of 10? They're not going to fix that. They're just going to try to update the account. That's when you start your second process, and then that's when you also can start your second process of litigation. Meaning you can start making complaints with the CFPB. You can start making complaints with the FTC. You can start making complaints with the Attorney General and the BBB, the Better Business Bureau. You can start making complaints with all of these companies once they tell you that they done verified this information and you know that they did not do a proper investigation into this account. Then and there, you know me, that's what I do. I go right to the CFPB. I also make a monetary value complaint to the CFPB. So let's pull up the CFPB for people on here, on the live. Why do I say that? The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, people, is the only company that you see with the word bureau in their name, and they are technically, by law, the only credit bureau. So, the CFPB, you could also, when they go down here, and you can start a new complaint, they're going to ask you for some information, set up your account. Then there's going to come different questionnaires that they're going to ask you. I'm going to do a video on that, the different ways to go about setting that up and how to, let's say, put in the answers on there to, like, let's say, to properly do it. Let's make it easy. So why? Because I tell a lot of people to go on here because it's free. That's another thing. The CFPB is free. So I tell a lot of people go on to the CFPB and they get stuck to what the questionnaires of how to report the issue on your credit report. I had a couple real videos about it, but since I'm trying to get more focus on this and the exposure and then the streaming live, I'm going to definitely do this live and show people the proper procedures and ways to go about using the CFPB and what to put in the boxes. But the CFPB also has, you can ask them to get paid from the violations of these companies. Now, if you're also on screen and on the live with us on Twitch and YouTube, in the ebook, I list about 7 different secondary bureaus that have massive amounts of information on you. This is what they use to correlate when they verify your information. These secondary bureaus like CoreLogic, ARS, Clarity, Innovis. If you having bank issues, that's because of check systems. Then you have Sage Streams and LexisNexis. As you see, a lot of them deal with cell phone companies, rent-a-center, mortgages, and then bankruptcies, but not just bankruptcies, rental and lease problems. So a lot of people can't that have issues with getting, let's say, leases and stuff. That's CoreLogic keeping a paper trail on you from any like housing companies that you was part of or landlords that's about their business that done reported you for missing rent. They ain't alive. We gotta fix this. We gonna need to we can let it die or exit out and then charge back up, come back later on the live for TikTok. So pardon me. So yes, get the ebook, people. Hit the link in bio. Book a consultation. DM me. That's for everybody on TikTok. Let's get back to it. Welcome to the Streets, the Entrepreneurs, and we talking about how we about to use this credit this year. Seriously, not paying $1,000 and a whole bunch of bull crap, and actually using it to get ahead. And it's not just about credit for my channel. This is just one of the main things that I had to overcome through my trials and error and have got good in that to help people, and especially people in my community. So now I want to help more, make it into a better service, and we built a whole AI platform around this. So as you see, there's about, and I think I got a listing on my Buy Me a Coffee in my shop where you got about another 8 to 9 other companies that are secondary bureaus or have information that they hold on you. A lot of these companies also deal with like how you might be seeing your public information on these sites like Yellow Pages and stuff. A lot of them come from these companies too. So get the ebook, people, or DM me, let me know. But these are the secondary bureaus. Now what happens is you can go to these sites and request to freeze your data from these companies in the midst of you doing your credit repair. That's what I did because it was just too much going on for me in business accounts, and I didn't pay my business taxes for a long time, so we had to deal with that issue too. But you shut these companies down or freeze your data in the midst of that, and then you unfreeze it. Because why? What happens is you're not going to be able to do a lot of online applications with these companies being frozen. They don't tell you that. So that's another thing for a lot of people that's lazy and like to use these online apps, or, you know, trying to build something new with these online companies for like loans, mortgages, like for an example, One Deck or SoFi. But if you are in serious, like a serious credit issue, bankruptcies, mortgages, repos, then this definitely is a must need information. And if you are just trying to understand how much data these companies have on you, go get the ebook. But these are the 7 of the top companies. So we're going to say this again for TikTok. You have CoreLogic, ARS, Clarity, Innovis, check systems if you having issues with bank accounts, Sage Stream, and LexisNexis. Those are the top secondary bureaus that hold and collect data on your information. So I have a link in the ebook. Go get the ebook. Go get this. I got a free one up there too, people. The link in bio. So we not just talking about fixing our credit. We need to get paid. A lot of us got to recoup from Christmas. Then school loan garnishments coming. Oh, yeah, I forgot about it. We ain't just talking about credit. Yeah, school loan garnishments coming back this January. Seriously, that's why I'm telling people join the group, because I just dropped a blog article on the school loan garnishments and what's changing this year for school loans, period. So 2026 is going to be a harsh year for people trying to get new school loans. I want you to know that. Just letting you know. So that's another reason I'm telling people to join the group, get into the newsletter, because we're going to do a lot more articles and newsletters on up-to-date information in that manner. A lot of people have no clue what's about to go on with these school loans. And I know a lot of people that got school loans at the age of 50 and 60. And you don't need a new bill right now. So you could go to these secondary bureaus and opt out of these secondary bureaus if you need to do extensive credit repair on your reports. Also, I use them to understand how much data and information that these companies hold on you. They hold a lot of information on you. And like I said, you could I like to make complaints. I'm the complaint king. So I make complaints with the FTC, BBB, to turn every consumer place I could think of that has a legal system to make a complaint. I make a complaint. Then from there, like I said, people, you have to dispute. So one, get your real credit reports. You have to get your real credit reports. Go to annualcreditreport.com. Sorry, I'm not using the IDIQ link. No, go to annualcreditreport.com. It's free, 100%. Get all 3 copies of your credit report. If you need extensive help or you want immediate help, get a copy of your credit report. Send me a screenshot of some errors and I'll review it and give you a quick synopsis on the companies, what you can do, and how you probably could take them to court to get paid. But the basis is, once you start getting off these debt collection companies, those is definitely going to help your credit score. Then you just have to fix everything else. The second stage I would tell people is fixing your personal information. Yes, the main way that they track you is through addresses. So that's why I tell people about the secondary bureaus, because if you go there and if you go through the backdoor method of Experian, you'll see that it's different account numbers for your address and your name. That's how they track you. That's why it takes so much time for you to keep sending in social security numbers and your ID to correct personal information, because they know that that's how they are tracking and linking you. Another thing, you ain't got to use all these laws in the letters because they use eOscar. It takes an account 4 times to get to a higher up. So what they consistently do, especially if you're not writing to their main office and doing certified signed letters, it's a lot to get these people right now to do the proper things. On top of that, they're under investigation by some of the top companies right now. So this year, yes, hurry up, because as we see, the economy is getting worse. They're switching the system to digital money. You better go figure out how to go to these banks, use this fake credit score, and access some money. That's as simple as it gets. On top of that, when it comes to litigation, you can get paid. Sorry that they not teaching us. They want us to pay $8,000 for the courses. No. It doesn't cost that much. Whatever county and state you in, you find out the bare basic like I did. All right, boom. Can I go to civil court? How much is it? So you could go to state civil court and then federal civil court. My lawyer guru is going to say go straight to federal court. But here's the thing. When you go to federal court, you have to pay for everything. You have to pay for the filing fee and for them to get served. So depending on what state you in New York State, I think it's $250 to $400 to file a civil suit in federal court. Then you have to pay the filing fee. So an easy way to go about this is understanding that it is still a civil issue. They violated your civil rights. Get my drift? So that means that you could start off broke, cheaply, by filing in civil court. Small claims court, as they call it. The issue is that you're not going to be able to get and access, let's say, a whole bunch of thousands of dollars. And like I said, this is not legal or financial advice. This is just trial and error experience of actually doing it. So from there, like I said, when you start to take these people to court and they understand that you know the proper words to say, you have your evidence in your credit reports, it's nothing really they could do. Just being honest. So now that eliminates the whole process of now keep getting these accounts reinstated back on. And like I said, a lot of us are financially messed up. So one, fix your credit score to access money, fix your credit score and sue these companies to get money, and then don't mess up once you fix your credit. That's it this time. I'm being serious. I'm being so serious. Let me get off. I gotta stay. I might want to stay on TikTok some more because, boy, like I said, this the year we getting right off all the proper information. We ain't doing no hating on nobody. We not doing the unsupportive. I'm not about to keep doing the what my son said. He was I'm gonna watch that. I wanna Hope Bryant, the brother. He said something about how we are. Meaning, like, since everybody's in the survival stage and mode, or Instagram and social media, things are just transaction, that when I'm fucked up, I can't help you. When I'm in a state of depression, fuck what you got going on until I figure out what I can figure out by myself. And I don't want to talk to you for you to help me. He was explaining that from, trauma, from whatever we want to call it, right? I'm not going to say it right now, talk about that, but we get what I'm getting at. I want to change that with just myself, because I get into a stage. I'm not a person that, I'm not going to help you, but if I'm going through so much and I don't understand, then I can't really help, because I still have to go back home and deal with all of that. You get what I'm saying? And then what's happening is we have no outlets. He said because of everything being so social media and antisocial, people can't even communicate properly to give you the proper advice, because people don't know how to talk now. Hold on, let me bring this over here. So I want to get into that because I want to make it fun and regular again. Like how the brother was saying, like, the kids are streaming, right? For an example, case and out of them. But I don't see too many people spreading the positivity of understanding, like, bam, these kids are making $10 and $20 thousand from their phone. You get what I'm saying? Or not in their phone, but put it like this, from what they want to do in their rooms, and let's say a place of safety, and we see that it's a lot of violence and bullcrap going on. And then they're actually making good money from not just streaming and gaming, but also sponsors, shows, and things in that manner. We ain't had that opportunity when I was growing up. No. So, as you see from the screen, sorry live, because I'm trying to make sure I could keep TikTok live for us, because we trying to get all of this out, and then we're going to break down the videos, short form them, and then run it up on YouTube. That's another thing we're going to get at too, because like I said, a lot of issues I've been hearing has just been financial stuff. The division of us understanding what can we do to fix it. Now, for me, like I said, credit wasn't just some, like I heard about, and I'm like, oh, we about to make a digital product, online business. No, I know for a fact that is a lack of literacy for it in the community, in the black culture. No, I can tell you I'm 30-some years old, I could tell you for a fact I never heard no adults talking about credit. I never went to school and I took college for a while, and it said anything about credit. So like I said, for me, when I was trying to get business funding, I'm like, yo, wait, hold on. All right, I got a credit score. I know a little bit, but I was from getting a T-Mobile phone from Best Buy years ago. So, when I went on there and finally looked at this credit score, and I've lost that phone when I was 20-something. Of course, I was at like 491. You feel me? I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Okay. Then after that, most average stuff, National Grid, things in that manner, furniture for the crib from like platforms like Rent-A-Center, or what's the other good place? What's that other good place? Huckfins. and things in that manner. So, of course, at the age of 20 and stuff, and you ripping and running or whatever the case may be, or you into a different lifestyle, you don't really pay attention to these things. And that's another reason I speak and teach on it and talk about it in a different way. And like I said, if I'm talking about a channel on entrepreneurship and business, this is a necessity to know in entrepreneurship and business. Just being 100. So we can sit around here and pump a whole bunch of, oh, I'm a business owner. But we have to really start learning the terminology and the structure of it, the literacy of it, and then share it. Like, people on here, for an example, 7-day, 14-day, and all of this credit sweep stuff or TransUnion hack. I'm not hating on nobody or anything also. But logically speaking or mathematically, right, it's impossible because of the process of mailing the mail. You get what I'm saying? That's the thing that's just funny about it, right? The whole process and the whole thing about consumer law is that you have to have written a letter or disputed it legally. Meaning, for an example, the CFPB. That's a legal way of communicating with a company pertaining to a dispute. That's what their job is. So I was on here, as you see from Law Cornell, I was on here to look up and basically explain better late payments for a client. Then like I said, I wanted to cover too is the AI tools that I'm using to make, let's say, my credit repair business easier and also for other people to use. We're going to get into that too while we on this live. Nah. But yes. Then we have a newsletter, blog article, people that you can also access and read a lot of information up on us, on our products, and then the process that what we're doing. We are using Buy Me a Coffee, as you see. We got a lot of free information on here, a lot. So go and get it. We have a lot of free resources for AI tools and things in that manner. How to apply credit. For an example, buying land and real estate. Metro 2, we have a course on, but that was just to explain the Metro 2 compliance stage of credit because it's all consumer law. So it doesn't even really matter because, like I said, the Metro 2 breaks down how the e-Oscar system operates and reads the reports and handles it. That's just basically it. Which is good information, especially for anybody that's trying to get into credit repair or start a business. You can also get into our membership. This will give you access to all of our new posts, updates, audios, and direct access to me. Because like I said, I know what's going to come with this AI stuff. And a lot of people are not going to want to deal with these robots and these data centers with giving out their financial information and personal information. Because as you see, like I said, that's the best. That's how they're getting money. Selling our data, using our social security numbers, and then reselling it for pennies on a dollar to debt collection companies and other companies. I just got a letter from Klarna for $9 because I detached my card. I mean, a debt collection company brought that account for $9 and is trying to hit my report for that. I can't believe it. So, Law Cornell, I like Law Cornell. This is where you go to identify all of these different laws and stuff and read it yourself on the proper terminology and things in that manner. Like I said, for one, if you go on here, it tells you and explains that they have to mail or, issue you something in the midst of something being late or the timing of payments, right? That's how they get you when you signed up online and it told them, oh, I want email notifications and stuff like that. Then as you see, it says the mail. So a creditor may not treat a payment on a credit card account under opening consumer credit plan as late for any purpose unless the creditor has adopted reasonable procedures designed to ensure that each periodic statement, including the information required by section blah blah blah, is mailed or delivered to the consumer not later than 21 days before the payment due date. So the two words you have to understand is mailed or delivered. And like I said, when you sign up for these online agreements and get into these apps, that's what they mean, that is delivered. If you opt out now, they have to mail you your timing, your payments, your bank statements. If they never did that and reported an account late, that's how you fix late payments. Pardon me, I got something in my eye. So I just wanted to cover that because it was already up there and I was talking to a client about that. So that's why I was telling people, go get all 3 copies of your credit report, because now, let's say you have a late payment that started over here on January, but on Equifax is showing February or March. That's incomplete, unverified, or inaccurate. That's how you fix the late payments on an account. Another thing that I've been noticing too, people, is we have to now start writing the original creditors. So the main company that done sold these accounts, for an example, like National Grid, even though they're not on the account, we have to start writing these companies too as our paper trail to give to these so-called credit bureaus to make sure that they know, bam, I done sent you all the proper information and documents. This should not be on my report. And this is why I'm teaching about litigation, because now, right, soon as they don't do something right, take they bus to court. Simple. Why not? Equifax and all of them worth billions of dollars. I don't want to say too much because they probably going to be on here looking at me. You got to be mindful of that. Let me say that too. This is not legal advice or financial advice. But I also have to say that because with going through litigation with them, they are accessing people's social medias and whoever are you dealing with. They're asking questions to figure out ways to, yes, take your butt to court to beat whatever you might be taking them to court for. So be mindful of what you're saying and speaking about while you're going through this online. Please, people, because they are definitely watching. I went to court with Equifax, and a lady like, Mr. Ray does credit repair in upstate New York. I'm like, what? How the heck you know? She like his online presence. I'm like, oh, Lord Jesus, no. But that's the basis of what I wanted to get at for today, people. Sorry if I gave out and jumbled a lot. This is like my beginning process on here. But stay tuned for more. Bam. Matter of fact, I'm bugging. I want to show y'all the site. I want y'all to go to disputeai.xyz and see how it analyzes your credit report or any documents that pertain to it. Because what we did was also updated it a little bit to be able to read documents from like the CFPB. So go on here. It has 2 to 3 free uses to get your full analysis. After that, it's $10 a month. That's it. You could use it. But what happens is, why I say that, because the tokens cost money. And then to design it to specifically give out good dispute forms, and the amount of dispute forms takes a lot of tokens from the AI system. Why? Because when you go on here, you can generate all your dispute letters based on that analysis. I mean, the dispute letters for the debt collectors, the original creditors, the credit bureaus, and the CFPB. I'm so serious. This is why I'm telling people to use this AI. Please, let me go make sure that I'm not out the camera. There we go. Why I ain't got no chat? Say that I'm playing. Why I ain't got no chat, but I'm playing, people. And I wanted this. I do want to be a very more, let's say, perky person when it comes to speaking on this or being a speaker in this manner or teacher in this manner, because like I said, this is just the beginning, because we still got to get into business credit, how to set that up, and that's the best right now. Business credit, people, that's the best to be using. I'm telling people now, stop just going to these banks using your regular name. Go in there with an LLC, ask them what you need, and fix it. If you need help, that's what I'm here for. Go book a free consultation, and let's really bring back business and entrepreneurship, and not like the whole scamming fake wave that they just did to us on the internet. Because why? I know people is upset they did not stay in Forex. When they made people think crypto and Forex was fake because we was out here booming off of it, I know a lot of people is upset they did not stay with Forex. Do you see what happened to silver and gold and all these minerals and coins and oils? Boy, gee, I'm mad I didn't jump into it properly and save and invest properly. I'm telling you this now, people. That's what we're going to fix this credit and focus on, because that was crazy. Missing that, and then now seeing how fast gold and silver has boomed. Boy, crypto also. They're making it seem like it's not a good thing because they control so much of it. But you have to understand that that's the future of money coming in the next 5 to 10 years. They're not investing millions of dollars, and JP Morgan just dropped, 4 of the biggest portfolios onto the blockchain for trillions and millions of dollars. That he ain't do that for no reason. So I like to tell people, follow the money. They not putting no money in nothing that's about to be fake, and we don't care about the guy that was his something. You know what I mean? They threw him in Bitcoin for to make people like, oh, we about to get out of Bitcoin, so they go buy it up. Nope, ain't tricking me. Nope, I don't care. It's impossible. The technology, put it like this, people, to be honest, the technology is impossible. Meaning it's impossible to be hacked in that extent. They can access certain things, but to hack it, no. Trace it as you see it takes a lot for them to trace it, and then they have to jump on it immediately. Immediately. The liquidation part of it is becoming a little bit easier because of all of these companies and banks getting into it, and then third-party companies and apps that especially on the other side of the internet that we're not even using, to where you could liquidate and buy and sell cryptocurrency directly. You could buy products with this and get it shipped directly now. It is a lot. If not, look up what they call the Genius Act or the Genius Bill that was just passed by Trump. Go study what his son is doing. Saudi Arabia just invested $100-some million in the stable coins. So, don't let them bamboozle you with the fear mongering, people. Follow the money. So, TikTok, I'm going to be back. We're going to fix this, let this charge up. So, back to you. So, bam. Matter of fact, let's jump in real quick. And let's do. Oh, we might got a new client today, people. So, let's jump on here real quick. Matter of fact, I will be right back. But stay tuned for more. But yeah, I'll be back on the stream real quick. People, I gotta use the bathroom. But go and try out the app, disputeai.xyz. Then you have consumerai.info, which is based on consumer law. And then also with the proper dashboard to store and track your disputes, certified tracking numbers and things in that manner. But we will be back. I love y'all. Give me 1 second. People go use the bathroom, and then we be back from the streets to entrepreneurs. And I hope y'all like the live. I need some comments, feedback, and more on what should be directly spoken to in this